this is Metal Jane and welcome to the IS-8 review, the Tier 9 Russian heavy tank. One quick disclaimer before we start this video: IS-8 isn't really a heavy tank. It is kind of a mix between a medium and a heavy, so when we talk about the armor, don't expect to see like E75 or ST1 levels of armor, but it does have some. It's not too much, at least in the hull, but let's take a closer look. So 120 upper plate and lower plate, angled pretty well. If you stare right into the peak, it's like 60 degrees, so the angle is really good, but then again, 120 armor will not get you too far anyways. You can get some nice bounces if the plate is angled towards something, but at the same time you can't angle this plate. The best way to bounce a shot is to keep this straight at your enemy and try to twitch at the last point to make him shoot the outer plate, but there's not really, it's not all that, not in your control all that much, so the hull is not very good. You're not really going to bounce anything with it, and the lower plate is angled slightly worse as well, but still, it's around 200 armor, upper and lower plate, and whenever your enemies has 250 pen, you are highly unlikely to bounce anything with this tank. Other than that, the turret is also kind of mixed bag of emotions. So first of all, you have this ridiculous Russian gun mantlet working as intended, 600 420 armor, no problem. Then we come to the cheeks of the turret right next to the gun mantlet, and then you see values like 202. Even though the zone where the armor is so bad is not that big, but it's probably some glitch in the tank inspector as well. But you can get penetrated next to the turret, and if you're face hugging and can't shoot the cupolas for some reason, then this is not the worst place to go for if you, as I said, cannot hit the cupolas. The cupolas are also not very strong, 102 armor. And if you hit this flat, you shouldn't have any problem penning. Also note that the 40 armor on the roof means that every 120mm or higher caliber gun will be able to auto-pen the roof. The roof zone is actually not that big, and if the IS-8 driver is using his gun depression, it's almost impossible to hit, which is good news here. Other than that, you have 80 side armor, some spaced Russian magic armor as well, so almost flat side armor, 700 armor. No problem. Made out of Stalin himself. And that being said, I don't think there's anything else we want to look into when it comes to the armor. Looking at the soft stats, we're comparing this to the W71114, the Chinese Tier 9 Heavy. Gun-wise, this gun is slightly better. It has higher DPM, higher penetration, lower alpha damage, but better accuracy and the same aiming time. When it comes to the soft stats, as you see, the gun is better pretty much across the board. Gun depression -5 and +15. 15 is enough, so I don't think this makes such a big deal. When it comes to mobility, though, 14.75 power to weight, and again, soft stats fuck this tank up quite a bit, and the WZ is pretty much as fast as this, and top speed forwards 50, backwards 15, which is decent enough for a heavy tank. That being said, I'm pretty sure we're good to go into the replays. Here's the game, playing with Zircon and Maxwell, playing on Cliff Tier 10 game, but as always, before the game starts, let's look into the stats a bit. 1800 health, slightly less than on most other Tier 9 heavy tanks. 50 km/h top speed limit forwards, 15 backwards. Really good for a heavy. When it comes to horsepower per ton, you saw the situation there. Around 15 horsepower per ton ratio, but it gets fucked by the soft stats. View range 400 meters, which makes the equipment of choice rammer, vert stabs, and coated optics for me at least. When we get to the gun, we kind of realize that this is the best 122mm gun in the entire Russian line. For Tier 9, this gun is really, really good, and this is where the IS-8 really shines. 440 alpha, 258 average penetration with AP. Really nice penetration for Tier 9 heavy, and the average damage per minute 2150 around with the stock values, which is higher than any other Tier 9 heavy tank, even slightly higher than the 103 that hits for 400, and only by 50 lower than on the IS-4. When it comes to accuracy, 0.38 and aiming time 2.9 is actually not as bad as it might seem. That it isn't like a super snappy gun, but it gets the job done, for me at least. One of the biggest issues in the IS-8 is the pretty bad gun depression, -5, elevation +15, which is not really a big deal, but hey. So the game so far, haven't really done much yet. Shot the light tank and managed to dodge 121 shell. Obviously fighting for the middle on the cliff, the most important spot on this entire map. And now it seems that the FE has caught out the IS-7 in quite bad position, so I'm gonna try to assist him and try to do quite a bit of damage here. Really nice to just support my teammate like this, and he's taking the shots anyway, so I don't really have to worry about anything but shooting the IS-7. I am going to try to track him here, so you can see the aiming time. It's not perfect. You need to take an accurate shot, you need to wait and aim a bit, but since there's no RD, you can actually afford to aim and play the game properly. When it comes to the crew skills, the obvious choice would be Sixth Sense, Smooth Ride, Snapshot, Situational Awareness, and Safe Storage. Quite a standard set of skills. For the second ones, Flash Breaking is nice, and pretty much whatever you prefer. Obviously repairs go first, as on most of the heavy tanks. When we think about the tactics you want to use in the IS-8, is obviously stay hull down and try to peek, shoot, fuck off, as I did with the IS-7. And looking at the game at the moment, it looks pretty damn dark. We have pretty much flanked from every possible angle. We do have a mouse here, but those medium tanks are gonna be super annoying, the Butcher and the 121. Definitely is trying to go deal with him, but he is gonna have more problems that he can deal with the 140 approaching there as well. The Chiri in the middle is super annoying. It's really what you want to do, especially when you fail platoon your way into a tier 10 game. Being annoying is probably the best you can do in matchmaking like this with a Chiri. As it stands for my position in this game, I haven't really done much in the latest stages, but there isn't really much I can do without really risking too much. But then again, if I don't use my gun, there's no point of me even being in this game. Here's a new friend, another IS-8. Take a random shot that hopefully would have hit him, but it didn't. 39 depends my side once, but once you angle your front against a gun like his, he doesn't really stand a lot of chances of winning you. And again, he goes for a trade. I catch it out, and anyway, IS-8 is not really playing very well. He didn't trade while his teammate was being shot at, which is a genuinely really bad play. Now, a random 5120, I don't know why I took this shot on the move instead of aiming it, but I got lucky, so no real complaints there. Now the IS-8 is actually gonna try to shoot me. You can see by his barrel that he has the stock gun, aka the IS-3's gun, which is still more than able to penetrate me in the hull, but if he's not aiming or aiming at my turret, then he isn't gonna stand much chance. Another trick you can do, if your lower plate is hidden or your enemy doesn't have enough gun depression, try to angle your hull upwards. Really bad play by the IS-8, by the enemy IS-8, as you can see, missed the shot that he could have easily took inside in the side of my hull. I didn't manage to track him, not like it really matters, but I'm probably gonna lose health because of this, and trying to wiggle a bit just to deny him an easy shot. But then again, as I said before, whenever your enemy has more than 200 penetration, there's not much you can do. You can hope to get lucky and try to wiggle your hull to deny them a steady shot into the side of your tank or in the lower plate of your tank. It doesn't really matter. You don't want to let your enemy aim at you all that much to begin with. So the Chiri is still alive and still being super annoying. The 121 and now a Death Star is to my left, which is also really quite annoying. We'll see if I can take a shot at the Chiri in a second, and actually can. First time he made a mistake to show his ass like that, and I managed to track him as well. He will repair it and fuck off, and keep being annoying. And Zircon gets one-shotted by the Death Star. Really chaotic game so far, and now I'm in a shitty position because there's a Chiri behind me. And I managed to miss him there. He's playing really well, as you can see, being super annoying, knows when to push him and not to. And now the 121 will put one into me as well. He took all that time to aim, so there was no way I'm gonna bounce that. I managed to retaliate, and now the only hope I really have is that the backshot will keep the 121 off me, and it seems that he has managed to do exactly that. Chiri goes down as well, and now for the 121. Don't really want to go too much in the open because he might just snapshot me and kill me. My shot hits the ground sadly, but it doesn't really matter all that much. When it comes to the stock grind on the IS-8, either path of research is fine. Getting the turret before the gun or getting the gun before the turret is fine. The top turret will give you better rate of fire and better aiming time with the IS-3's gun, but this gun is really nice, so both of the research paths are fine. If you need the tracks, just buy the module. If obviously you're not free to playing, then you probably cannot really afford to waste the credits. But the stock grind is not horrible for a tier 9, where you usually find the worst stock grinds in the game. That being said, this game is pretty much wrapped up. Really chaotic game, 5k damage, maybe some blind shots. I don't think I fired any though, but that's game. So here's the end plate. Ace Tanker, 1846 experience, Steel Wall and Confederate, 5142 damage done, so no blind shots hit. And I don't even remember if I fired any. 530 assisted. All things considered, I say this pretty damn good tank. Only thing you really have to realize is that this is not a heavy tank. If you play this as an average heavy tank, try to angle or pull some similar nonsense, this tank is not gonna suit you at all. You want to play it as an oversized, slow, medium tank and try to use your turret whenever you can. Try to not let anyone shoot your hull if you have a choice, or at least try to angle your front against them. Have some troll side armor, but you can't really count on enemies actually shooting the one bit where you have like 700 armor flat. But the IS-8 in overall is pretty good. It's a really nice gun on average platform, I would say, so you can make good use of it. It doesn't have the crazy potential that some of the super heavies have with their ridiculous armor values, but at least you don't have to be worrying about enemies spamming gold at you, because it really doesn't matter all that much. Hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you on the next one.